What's good? Okay, this will be the last video for today. A lot of content had dropped within the last 12 hours, so I did want to cover this unit because it is a very interesting free-to-play unit. Of course, I am talking about the Extreme STR Champa unit, and let's go ahead and cover the stats first. So the leader skill is Universe 6 category Ki +2 HP attack defense increase of 40%. The super attack will cause supreme damage to enemy and also lowers defense. The passive skill is a medium chance of attack increase of 200%. Now the medium chance is equivalent of 25%, so it's a little bit of a gamble. I mean, it's give or take. It might take a couple times to actually. Point being, it's pretty random. So even if it's 25%, I mean, when it kicks in, you will definitely feel this shit, and you'll see it in the video. In terms of the links, you're looking at Godly Power, that's 15% increase to attack. Connoisseur is 5% HP recovery. The Innocence is 10% increase to attack. More Than Meets the Eye is 300 to attack over 9,000, 10% increase to attack, and Shocking Speed is +2 Ki. This unit falls into 3 categories: Realm of Gods, Dragon Ball Seekers, and Universe 6. At 100% potential, the stats are the following: HP of 10,647, attack at 9,921, and defense is 6,517. 12 Ki Multiplier is 140%. So this passive skill, medium chance of attack increase of 200%, is pretty similar to the summonable version. So again, it is a 25% equivalent chance, and you know, it's 1 in 4 chances. It's a little bit on the low side. I wish it was a little bit higher, especially for the summonable version. I think it should have been at least a high chance, but you know, this is a free-to-play unit, so I think it's acceptable to have a medium chance of attack increase of 200%. Not many units, you know, within free-to-play have this kind of increase from a percentage boost toward attack. So I was definitely interested in how this unit would perform. I did initially think about running this guy on the Universe 6 category with a secondary, you know, Universe Survival Saga team. However, I wanted to get this guy linked up with, you know, Beerus and LR Beerus and Whis, you know, those types of units that do share a lot of link skills with them. So I decided to go with the Realm of Gods format, and I did include the free-to-play Vados unit as well as the Supreme Kai Time as well, just to provide some additional support. And of course, the leaders are the Ultra Instinct Goku. So that's pretty much the format of this showcase. I think it worked out better because honestly, links are a little bit better with the setup, and then you've got some additional support running into this team format. But overall, I mean, this unit's not bad. Even with the 200% not activated, you can get the attack stats upwards about 450,000 to about 500,000, depending on who you have in the rotation. Because it's only a 25% chance of activating the 200% increased attack, I went with pretty much a heavy focus on criticals, level 17 for that, and then level 9 for additional attack. So whenever the 200% doesn't kick in, at least he'll be able to get a critical more often to maximize the damage output. So that's pretty much the setup I went with for this unit. You can really go with any variations. I mean, I personally like criticals more than anything, so I'm a little bit biased in how I allocate my levels within the potential system. So that's just my personal preference. Of course, you can go with, you know, additional attacks banking on the 200% increase from the passive, or, you know, give them level towards evasion. It's ultimately up to you, but I think it's probably best to go with levels between additional attack and criticals. Honestly, that's probably my advice. So unfortunately, this is Dokkan mode about to be activated, but the passive of 200% isn't active. So the difference is pretty big. You were looking at 90,000 in attack stats right now. Now, if the 200% had activated, you're looking at 220,000 potentially. It's similar in that region once the you know, 200% activates. So it does make quite a bit of a difference. I think on average, without that passive skill active, you're looking at maybe about you'd be lucky with like 500,000. More so probably like 450k. Now, with the passive skill active, you can get this guy's attack stats to about 1.2 million. You'll see this right here because He's sandwiched in between good support units. Vados providing a 30%, and then the Supreme Kai Time is providing 40% upwards of that amount. So yeah, 1.23 million, and this is a free-to-play unit. So the grind itself is really not bad. You just have to bring in the Universe 6 category units and just go through the story bit. The drop rates are, in my opinion, they're pretty good. I would get, you know, a couple of the cards to drop in one run. Now you run into a problem where sometimes you only get training items, but I think 1 out of 3 runs, like I was able to pick up at least 3 or 4 copies of the unit. So the grind itself really wasn't bad. And you know, I do have the summonable version of Champa as well, with a bunch of dupe hats unlocked. But I don't know, I was kind of curious how this free-to-play unit would do, and I'm sure it would help you guys out too, because not everybody's going to have the summonable units, and you know, the free-to-play units are certainly an option. It's not always the case that they're just going to be used for SA farming. I mean, they're good enough at this point. Like Bandai and Akatsuki have been pretty good about releasing free-to-play units as of late, to where they're actually pretty useful. Like Hit is actually pretty good as well. I ended up rainbowing him, and he's got built-in stunning capabilities, also evading attacks. The Vados unit is a pretty good support, especially for the Universe 6 category. You know, attack and defense increase of 30% along with a key boost. You know, it pairs up pretty well with a lot of units. I haven't tested out the Namekian card yet. I'm still, you know, in the process of grinding units, but eventually I might come around to it and end up testing that unit as well. But like I said, I'm always curious about how free-to-play units perform, especially given that, you know, some of these have potentials. I mean, you know, this Champa is a good example of that. I mean, it's hard to get a lot of units to you know, get like 1.2, 1.3 million in attack stats, unless we're talking about, you know, units that have, you know, units that are LR or units that have an easy A. You know, those units obviously for various reasons they're able to get pretty high numbers, but I think it's pretty impressive that this Champa unit is able to produce that kind of amount of damage. Again, ultimately the biggest drawback and flaw with this unit is the medium chance of attack increase of that 200%. Medium chance, I mean, sounds good on paper, but it really equates to a 25% chance. That's, again, 1 in 4 chances if we stick strictly with the numbers. And you know, it's not, I mean, it's frequent enough, but it's somewhat lacking, I guess, because you could go through a couple of rotations where he's not going to get that 200%. But at the end of the day, he's able to produce like, you know, 450k to 500k in damage without that 200% active. So I think overall this unit's pretty good, and I would at least max the SA and unlock the dupe pass. I would highly recommend you do this, because at some point, you never know, you might run into a situation where you actually need the unit. So it's always good to look ahead and plan, you know, for any changes that may come about later on in the game. So I talked about this in the last video. You never know how long it's going to take for story events to come back around. You might as well do it while they're available. That way you don't even have to worry about it. But at the very least, make sure to farm the SA for the summonable Champa unit. I mean, you get a 50% chance to increase the SA just from this card. I mean, that's very little grinding. You have bonus drop rates. You know, it's certainly worthwhile to do it. So that would be, you know, my biggest takeaway from that. And in case you noticed, Vados, I only gave her level 11 additional tag, level 15 for criticals. She doesn't have any levels toward evasion, so that, you know, let that sink in a little bit, how often she's actually dodging with the built-in passive. So, you know, that's another unit that's very good. I would certainly farm that unit as well. Especially, you know, there's not that many supports within the Universe 6 category, so, you know, it's certainly a good option and decision to go ahead and do that while it's available. Alright, well, that was pretty much the showcase for the 100% potential free-to-play Extreme Strength Champa unit. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm sure a couple of you guys were probably wondering how this unit is at 100%. Hopefully this helped. You know, make your decision whether to grind or not. But as always, I do appreciate you watching, and definitely stay tuned for the next one. Alright, I'll catch you guys later.